Oh, hello. How are you all out there? Welcome in to a very special episode of Angel City Stories. My name is Mallo. I am your host, your GM, and your internet rockstar boyfriend.
When you say a very special episode, it makes me think that we're going to do a PSA that I am not prepared for.
It's
I mean, if these last 51 episodes have taught you, you should take no PSA advice from muffins at all.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna start by the introductions right there. Playing a 9-foot giant love robot, it's Joe. Playing Muffins, Cupcake, and Grifter. Just below him, he's got a bunny on his jacket and he likes to drive fast. He's also one handsome sumbitch. It's Pete playing Bunny Boy.
Hey, thanks. All the sound effects this last season. That was all me. There you go.
This is exact our Foley artist.
Let me know, Disney, if you need any. Sound alert.
Rocking right next to him, he is our kilted gutter punk himself. It's Lance playing Blizz.
I actually had a Blizz moment today at the fair.
Oh God, please, please.
I walked into the restroom carrying a giant corn dog because everybody's hands was full.
Okay.
And a little kid was sitting next to the door. And as I was walking out of the restroom, I hear him go, "Did he make that in there?"
To be fair corn dogs, if you in the right context, do kind of look like a turd with a stick in it.
Thanks for that. I actually really enjoy corn dogs. Now,
well, you
maybe
did.
not so much.
Yeah.
Well, if you bite into one and it tastes like a turd,
Nope. Nope. The more you know, right there.
hey, that's a PSA that muffins can safely give. If it tastes like shit, don't eat it.
I don't think the world needed to know that. I think everyone already knew that.
Given the timeline we're apparently in, I think we needed to know that.
That show needed to end one season earlier.
I would like to point out to everybody about the timeline that we're in. Like, if you come into our Discord, like frequently it's like people will post news articles and it will go, "You want to know how you get IDENTECO? This is how you get IDENTECO. Thank you, Amazon and your corporate towns. Florida for being Florida.
Texas for being
Texas."
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. We wrote this years ago. You guys, this wasn't a how-to guide.
Having to follow all of that, due north, it's Wild playing Eve.
Hey bitches, I got a couple of announcements.
Oh.
Okay, so buckle in.
All right.
First of all, Cassie makes bomb-ass mixed berry jam, and that was my meal before my stream, and it was freaking fantastic. And second of all, we made this for you, Mallo, for your last stream. So thank you for being our DM.
Oh, thank you.
You'll see it when we meet next. Also, stream, chat, viewers on YouTube, we love you. Thank you. And yeah, it's been a fun ride.
It has been. It has been. My co-conspirator, at least for the past 7 years, co-creator of IDENTECO, and GM of a very popular show called Chaos Inc. every other Monday, right here on twitch.tv/IDENTECO. It's Alex playing Billy.
What's up, everybody?
That's
Titus.
And Titus, yeah. That's
New
true.
Titus.
New Titus,
Titus.
okay.
Titus went to become one with the Force.
Made out of hot dogs.
Titus 2.0, they patched out the hole in the face.
And
You know,
finally,
one of these days we're gonna do that as a twist. I'm gonna bring Titus back, and he'll have like been salvaged from that dumpster
It is
and like brought
Spooktober
back
almost.
to life.
it is almost Spooktober, yeah.
And he will come for muffins.
Halloween zombie episode.
Oh
You
God.
don't understand how much I legitimately grieved because Titus died.
Yeah, I don't
know,
think
that's why I keep poking fun at it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any coming back from that. To be honest, I don't think there is.
We just haven't written a rule for it yet. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I mean, not to dip into another cyberpunk genre, but if you've played Cyberpunk 2077, you've dealt with the board guys at the beginning. That's what Tidus would have to look like, with just like no face.
I don't even want to get into crossing up the IPs at the moment because we still have to introduce Cassie playing Catassie.
Hello, y'all.
Hello. She brings the color out of all of us. You look at look at all the panels. Like
I do. All I got is wild hair and sass mouth. So I hope y'all are ready.
Yeah, I fake it with shitty lighting. She just brings it naturally. That's her actual hair color right there. She just comes like that.
Well, we went to the fair today, and there was a booth there that was called. You could get. They called it fair hair done, and they'd like do your hair up like a mohawk and like spray like temporary dyes and make it like all rainbow and stuff. I dared her to take her current hair in there and see what they could do with it, and she would go.
I didn't want to intimidate them. It felt tacky to do that big a show of dominance at the state fair without like actually showing livestock.
Fair enough.
I was like, what do you do? I was like, what do? You just walk in there, like 2 doors open, just like Aragorn style, like, boom, check this shit out, and then walk away. Like,
it's like an anime intro, and her hair is just like all lit up, and it just blinds everybody as they walk in.
And it gets that little bit of anime, like, ching. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, it took us 20 minutes to get through the intro, so we're doing good tonight. Yes.
Exclamation point tangent.
It's fine. Wildling already called it on us earlier. Tonight's gonna be kind of like that. We have a hair bit more story for you. This is an epilogue of the final events. If you haven't caught up with the show, should probably stop watching right now because we're gonna spoil some things for you. So if you're watching on YouTube, go check out the other 49 episodes because this is gonna spoil a lot of things probably for you. But if you're watching live and you're listening on the podcast, thank you. Appreciate that. So as we kind of get into it, so I'm not gonna do a recap. We'll do plugs at the end of the show. We're gonna jump right into some of the last bit of stories that we have for tonight. And I want to set the scene for you all here and everybody at home. You all are sitting around at a Denny's because of course you are. It is about a week or so after the events of our last episode. And per usual, it is early in the morning for you all. As in like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Because nothing good happens at 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning at a Denny's. Including you all showing up. So, you know, that happens. All of the things that we can do today, we have two different ways we want to go. And I want to give everybody a chance to kind of talk through. There's some lists of things that you all told me you want to do. There's some things that we probably do on the fly, but this can be told both as a flashback over the past week or so, and or as current present day discussion. But I want to deal with the giant stuffed pink elephant in the room. Because Catassie, and that's not me calling her a giant pink stuffed animal, although we should make stuffed animals a Digi, that would be cool. You're back in a human body.
Sad.
When you left the tower and your other sort of form that you had is a lanky 7-foot tall, pale white, leathery humanoid with sort of a flat face, completely bald, bigger ears. And you are kind of on one side of the helicopter and Muffins with his giant mech bodies on the other side as y'all are flying away from this. But in your head, you, after all of the fighting and things have kind of settled down, imagine yourself just in sort of a dark room with just like one light sort of shining down in the middle of it. And it's you and a young boy just standing there. And the boy is dressed in, basically he's dressed in what looks like to be a denim shirt and like black pants with just like some slip-on shoes. He's got long black hair that's pulled back into a ponytail. And he's just sort of standing there looking up at you. Even though as short as Catassie can be, you're still taller than this child. And it's looking at you and just kind of like, kind of blinking for a moment and then kind of just goes, "Thank you, Mom."
I'm gonna reach out and attempt to pat it on its weird little head. This is feeling real culty, y'all.
I mean, in your head, in this particular area, in this feeling that you're in, it feels real. It feels like real human hair. It's warm to the touch. For all intents and purposes, you're just
expecting that.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Where's the exit?
The child looks around and he goes, "I don't know." And the child starts coughing in real time. And it echoes a little bit through the space. I got a surprise
kid and it's sick. Jesus, parenthood sucks.
And the child kind of like sits down, and it sits down crisscross applesauce. And it kind of like leans over and just kind of pats the ground in front of it.
Patting like drumming or patting like looking for something?
No, patting is in like, sit right here, sit with me.
Against my better judgment, I'm gonna comply.
So you sit down and the floor is, it feels as though it's
lava.
No, close. Stone, cold stone even. And he takes one of your hands in his, and he kind of like puts it in there, and then he takes your hand and puts it right inside of your hand, and he takes another hand and puts it on top in a very soft and loving way. And his hand is warm, just like you'd be touching any other human hand. And there's a glow that ends up emanating from his hand. And all around that, the area around you turns into this bustling, beautiful stonework bazaar. It's the same bazaar you were in one of your dreams during the series. And he looks at you and he goes, "This was home at one time." And then purple energy kind of ripples through and it changes, and you're still in the same spot, but that spot looks like it's been bombed out and destroyed. And the weather around you is more hectic and darker. And he looks at you and he goes, "This is home now." And he has a little like sad look on his face. And in the distance, you can feel a light. And as you both look in that direction, the same sort of orange glow and warmth feeling that you're feeling in the hand that he's holding is emanating from a tower, a large pyramid-like tower off in the distance.
Seems completely safe, not at all suspicious. I'm gonna take the kid and let's go. Hoof it to the weird glowing, not at all even remotely potentially radioactive glowing pyramid. I'm full of good choices.
You know, I want to rewind, by the way, back to another part of the season where she said exactly that. There you go. Similar to your previous dreams, you cut through these. Every time you go through an opening, you end up in a different part of this place, closer to the tower. And then as you get to the main area of the tower, it looks like a bombed out corporate building almost. Like there was glass all through here. It was beautiful. It had a lot of like sillage and clean and chrome. But now it's all destroyed. And the child is still holding your hand as you walk through all of this. And as you get back through yet another door, you go and you look around and it's a lobby. Much like any other big corporate tower you've been in. It's dirty. It's run down. He walks you up the stairs. He gets closer. One of the elevators open up. You walk into the elevator. It closes. And it starts going down instead of up. And they floor down, another floor down, another floor down.
Straight to hell.
And finally, when it opens up, right when you say straight to hell, he goes, I don't know hell. And he walks out and, still holding your hand gently, walks you across the floor of this. And it is just an immense, like, tiled floor that's broken up and overgrown over years of misuse and just wildlife being able to make their way through here. And in the center of this room, there are wires coming from all directions, just up and over and around, into making this sort of like wire and metal throne in the middle of the room. You've seen this before. It was in one of your dreams as well. And the figure doesn't open its eyes this time. And the kid below you just kind of says, Chief is dying. We need someone to help.
How can I help?
Take Chief place. We need a leader.
Yeah, okay, I like power.
And the creature, for lack of a better word, in the middle of this, looks up for the first time. And it's not the same face that you saw that was ominous and almost evil looking in your dreams. This face is an weathered, old, wise woman. You can still see some bits of gray hair, but her dark and tanned skin, leathery from many years. When she opens her eyes, you feel like you ever looked into somebody who's lived a very, very long time and you can see the wisdom in their eyes? She gives you that look. And it's a comforting look to you. There's no malice in it. And she takes her hands, which had been gripping either side of this throne, and as they release, you can kind of see that she was digging into metal, possibly over many, many years. And her hands very slowly and creaking. You can almost hear like metal and bone like popping as it's like straining her to do this. She just holds her hands out to you like this, just looking at you. And you could kind of hear words coming out of her mouth, but it's just haggard breathing and just, save them. You can.
Well, which one's the positive terminal and which one's the negative terminal? I'm gonna grab her hands.
With that, you, for those of you who are in the chopper, in the back of the chopper, so Eve, you don't roll on this particular one, because you're paying attention to flying, which I'm not gonna make you roll
Am
for.
I though? Okay, thanks. I should have just let you say the rest of that before I challenged that.
I need the rest of you back there to roll me a perception check, please.
I got a
on
three.
my character sheet.
I got a 3.
You got a 3. If you've got medical, you're gonna get a +3 to your roll.
Oh, I do have medical.
Okay.
Well, that's different. So that would be a 18.
I'm assuming the other two of you didn't roll very well because you're not talking, or did you not roll?
I thought I had my D20 out, but it was a D12. So I'm looking for. Yeah, there we go.
I was attention to the camera.
Okay,
Rookie mistake.
it's all good.
7
Okay.
for me.
So Eve, up front, you just start hearing some commotion in the back as Billy notices that the creature that was there falls unconscious, and it was holding on through the helicopter. Now you have a choice that you can make right here, Billy.
Okay.
It could fall out of the helicopter, or you could do some stuff.
All right. So I had previously declared that I have a dummy cord with a D-ring hooked to the inside of the helicopter.
That is correct.
So what I'm going to attempt to do is test the tensile strength of this dummy cord.
Okay.
Now, follow my logic here. One of those little tiny cords on a parachute has a tensile strength of 550 pounds.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming this is going to do a little bit of that, so let's try it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and dive out and grab the creature
Okay.
before it falls unceremoniously to the city streets below. Because we're like flying back over the city toward like where we
Somewhere
came.
that,
Okay,
yeah.
you want an agility check on that?
Yes, sir.
Are you gonna tell me before you do that? Or are you just gonna jump out of the fucking helicopter while I'm flying? Because I need to know IRL.
I'm going to say it as I leave, right? I will say, 1 second, be right back. And then I will dive out of the helicopter.
Billy, you motherfucker!
I mean, would you rather Muffins had done that? I mean, 800 pounds like,
No!
on one side of the helicopter all of a sudden.
All right. I
Does it
still
rock the copter at all?
technically
see.
have 2 rerolls, so I'm going to use one of those now.
Okay. I had almost turned those off for tonight, actually. That's a good point. All right.
That was
Use them
a
or lose
3.
them.
That was a 3.
Okay.
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be. Oh wait, I have to add my fucking. suit. Derp. Which is a D12.
Yeah, you're a jet.
Yeah, I forgot about that for a second. So that'd be 19, 24, 25.
Okay. So you say that to Eve, and you go diving out. And with what reaction time you have on a broken leg, like completely blacked out leg, which did you subtract that from your?
You told me that I had stabilized and didn't have to take the 5 penalty anymore.
Okay.
Last session.
He was groping himself for a while.
I pay attention most of the time when you tell me things.
You grab it because it's limp, and so you're able to kind of grab it up under the arms, and you're just kind of swinging there now.
Okay, so I will attempt to use my jets to point us back into the helicopter.
Okay.
This is going to work out great. Actually, that worked out pretty well. Thank God for a suit. That was a 24.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
This has turned into Just Cause.
True. Okay, so it takes you a second, but you kind of like are able to engage the
Jump jets?
the jump jets as you kind of swinging throughout the city here. And you're able to kind of get everything back in, and you have to like climb and stuff like that, but you're able to lay the creature down back closer to Grifter's body, essentially, like behind the main seats right there up against the bulkhead. So I think Billy froze for a second. Because right now
He froze on a smile.
he's frozen on a smile. I love it. Eve, while
That's so unfair.
Eve, while you are
He froze up. He
Yep.
froze up.
while that's going on behind you, you're fighting to kind of keep control of this helicopter. Catassie just snaps awake with a start. Like goes
I'm
from like
obviously
leaning
going
up
to
to this
scream.
going, whoo.
Like a beautiful Pop-Tart of loveliness.
Which I also scream at when they pop up too. So it's fitting.
I yell at the coffee grinder, so I
Come back.
feel you.
So yeah, welcome back. Hi.
I don't know what just happened there.
You froze on the best screen ever.
It was like Discord like kicked me out of the channel. I kept hearing the channel on off button sound in my earpiece, and then it was just there. Okay, so I made it back in the helicopter, and I say, see, that worked out fine. And you didn't want this little creature to die, did you?
Little.
Yeah, in fact, I will do that. Little.
Okay.
This is an innocent being.
It's still unconscious, by the way.
Probably its mouth is still probably covered in blood from when it was eating all those people.
Yes.
Does he come in as I'm screaming at Catassie popping up like a Pop-Tart?
Yeah, basically.
Just screaming at all of you now.
My reaction to 2021 in a nutshell.
Well,
So-
I'm out on the skids, so you're yelling, and I'm just going, what?
So as
We're good.
yeah, Catassie, in that moment, you are aware of these visions again that you have been having throughout the campaign. You are now aware that the physical form of the creature back there is actually dying. It's deteriorating, technically. And we will explain more about that later, but you are acutely aware where this tower is in real life now. Your digital form has made contact with another digital form that is out there. And if you remember from your dream, there are hundreds, if not thousands more exactly like that where the tower is.
And those are the things that need a leader.
Yes.
Hey yo, if I give you this GPS for this weird glowy tower that is in no way dangerous, you think you could like swing me by there? Drop me off? I could like jump on a rope out like, Billy did.
Sure, do you need me to swing by the store too so we can get some milk and eggs as well?
Are we gonna have French toast?
As long as the tower's not that dangerous. What the hell are we going into?
I don't know, but they asked me to be their queen, so I'm kind of into it.
Does that mean you'll have an army and weapons?
It does potentially seem like that, yeah.
Word. Everybody put on their damn seatbelts.
How far away is this place?
It's in the middle of the
I don't know,
wastes.
but I hope there's a gas station.
There's not, and we don't have the gas to get there.
Catassie, this particular place is in Wyoming, or what used to be Wyoming. Out
That's
in the
where
middle
the
of
wind and racists live.
You're not wrong.
There were tumbleweeds too. I lived there for a while when I was 18.
Having lived there.
Oh, I know those
Fact.
tumbleweeds. They're fucking huge.
I thought they were fake until I lived there. Thought that was a thing you only saw in cartoons. Did not think they were real. Thanks, nature!
And they introduced themselves to her by bouncing off her windshield as we were going 70 miles an hour down the highway, and she cried for a good hour after that.
Listen, I screamed first because it was terrifying.
Yeah, in game, it is hundreds of miles from Angel City, out in the wastes.
So it's north of the camp they picked me up at.
Yes. Actually, it's also west of that, because you came from New Haven, which is in Colorado, or the ruins of Colorado, essentially. So imagine that's built into Colorado mountains.
This sounds like it's up by, like, Danaska.
That'd be over close near the Utah-Wyoming border, wouldn't it?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
You
About
feel
800
So I-
miles.
yeah. Roll
Can
me
I
a
change my answer then?
yeah.
Catassie, a little voice in my head called the GM, said that we can't go there right now.
Wow. Meta.
I can. I'm gonna bail out of the helicopter and steal a Jeep and head towards the tower. I just feel compelled.
Okay. Well, we can. So that's a decision that we can make. Now, if you want to leave out of Denny's, essentially, and get into a Jeep and head that way, that can all be done.
Ha, you thought you were hopping out of a helicopter, but you're stuck in Denny's.
No, I'm going to get back in the helicopter just to make a point.
We're flying, so getting out of the helicopter is not a great idea.
I think, though, that if Catassie wants to steal a helicopter and you've read Warehouse 54, she has the ways and means to get a helicopter ride.
Yeah, eventually. I'm just saying not into midair. I don't want to have to jump out after anybody else.
You're done making midair saves? Is that what you're saying?
But it was so cool the first time. I want to make sure everybody saw it.
Oh my goodness. There's usually parachutes in there, isn't there? No? Okay.
One doesn't typically parachute from helicopters.
Oh, one
I don't-
parachutes from helicopters all the time, but you don't keep them in helicopters.
He says,
I don't
having
know if
parachuted
I
from a
would
helicopter.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would fly a helicopter with you hooligans in it without parachutes.
Catassie, roll me a d20.
I got a 9.
Oh, if you rolled high enough, I was gonna give you a wingsuit if you just want to bail. If you legit just want to bail.
Wingsuit.
It's your story. You can jet and go out in the wild wherever you want to.
Can I still build his jetpack?
That's between you and him. because he's.
Can they roll for initiative?
Oh my goodness! All right, and you all are flying away as all of this happens, and we come back to our lovely Denny's. And we come to Blizz, who I need you to roll a D12, I believe, is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
I'm using one of your old dice, Joe. You better not fail me. 4, yeah.
Joe's fault.
You don't have any of my dice.
Yeah, I do. It's one you left over at the house in Oklahoma.
There
So-
are houses in Oklahoma.
There's a really bad joke I can make right there.
Houses.
Okay. I need you to roll me a D20 for Sam.
That was a natural 20.
So, as you are flying away, you were watching the brawls and the hit and runs and all of the fighting happening down below. And you remember earlier that Billy was saying, you know, they were assisting from above would be the best way that I could probably put it. As they were working to basically keep the cops from coming to Benevolent. And down on this street, Riley, Steven, and Sam are ducking and weaving in and out of alleyways, taking pot shots at the cops, stealing different flares and different pieces of their stuff, until they turn the corner and there are chicken walkers sitting there staring at them. And roll me another D20 for me.
16.
At the last second before they turn the corner, Sam is able to grab basically what is essentially a flashbang from a cop as she's kicking one in the back of the shins to like basically incapacitate it, and tosses it at the chicken walkers. And that gives them just enough time to turn the corner again and make off down another alleyway. I need you to roll me one more D12.
D12. Since Joe's dice failed me, I'm gonna roll a different one. 2 that time, which I guess is okay.
So, in another part of the fight in the scrum, Foon and Fetu are literally back to back fighting off cops. Every once in a while, they're getting some assistance from some of Rico's guys, but they're getting, you know, these folks are guerrilla tactics. They're not trained yet. Your Third Eye people are a little more trained. You guys have fought with each other in the trenches a little bit more, but still, the numbers are overwhelming. You rolled me a D20 for me.
18. I was having a hard time seeing that one.
So, as they're fighting around with this, one of those, they almost look like little small stealth bombers, or if you've seen them from the front of our core rule book, they're like these hovercraft, essentially, that make their way through the cities and things like that. Several of those are flying through, and as the cops are inching in towards Foon and Fetu is big. I mean, he's like the Rock on steroids, right? Like, he's huge. He grabs little Foon, who's basically your little brother, by the collar and grabs hold of one of the wings of the hovercraft, for lack of a better term. And basically, as they're both kind of like lifted off and flying, Foon's got a gun in one hand, like firing back, and just giving the middle finger with the other one as they start to try to get out and away from the fight.
Exactly how he was trained. Or suggested. I don't know.
Suggested. You're a very strong leader of the Third Eye, friend. You're suggesting things. I like it. Very strong. I need you to roll one more D20 for me. Or D12.
8 on that one.
Okay. I'm going to couch that for later. Is anybody in this particular scene in the helicopter wanting to do anything else while we're in this particular flashback?
Not fall off of it.
That's handy. That's a good one. I wasn't going to really make anybody roll for that. Bunny's going to fall asleep? I like it.
Yeah, he's it's been a long day.
It actually has been for you. You've done a
When I
lot.
see Bunny fall asleep, I start looking for a Sharpie.
Don't do it. I just drove you up 2 different escalators in a 6-wheel vehicle.
Seeing that he's looking for a Sharpie, I realize I still have that grease pencil from earlier.
Oh, God.
Now you're
I'm
gonna
like,
have ticks on your face and acne.
I'm like, tempting, but it has been a long day.
We're gonna throw him
I'll
out of
leave
the
it alone.
helicopter.
Yeah.
I'll leave it alone.
Eventually.
Please save the shenanigans until I am not driving. Thank you.
We're not drawing on you.
Y'all can't even get to her. I don't think.
Eve, Muffin's on my side of the helicopter.
Swear to God, I will turn this shit around.
And it just starts spinning in circles.
Yes. I let it go.
Yeah.
To the tower that's no longer existent. You're gonna park on the non-existent roof, and we're just gonna step off.
It's called platforming, Joe. Get good.
Da, 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 da. Okay. This scene then, back with you all at the Denny's. It is, you know the post-credit scenes in the Avengers where everybody's just kind of like beat and worn out and stuff like that, and they're at the shawarma restaurant.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's going on right now. Like, it's been a week for y'all. It's been a week, you know? You done a few things.
I just registered this poor Denny's staff.
Yeah.
They've seen some shit.
I was say, because Blizz wouldn't have de-armed when he went into the Denny's, so he's carrying all of his weapons.
Well, and as you all are, I don't even want to know where you parked the helicopter, by the way, to get into a Denny's. I don't even want to know.
On the roof.
Of
duh.
course. Knew that was coming.
How else do you park a helicopter to go to Denny's? Please.
The helicopter pad at the Denny's?
Yeah, that's why they have them there at every Denny's.
Parking lot.
One of the things that you notice on, well, actually, everybody give me an underground roll.
Ooh, something I'm good at.
The world. 15.
22.
5.
13.
14.
Just let me put on my smug face here and report my natural 20.
Wow. It's a good thing natural 20s don't matter on checks, only on.
Man, don't steal my thunder.
Too late.
I expect another sticker for a gold star sticker when I come over.
Okay.
What?
Those of you who rolled 14 and above, 13 and 14 above, I think. are noticing
Thanks.
like breaking news alerts and headlines. Talking about what you just did at Benevolent. Guys are making the news, you know. But also that like Benevolent CEO has actually been on vacation in like South America.
I knew it.
So there's a heads up that basically from, the CEO's fine is essentially what it is. It's like, any other rock star out there, if something happens while they're on tour or something like that, they immediately release a press release or whatever, and showing pictures of him.
You know
with
what
his,
to do, gang. Let's go.
I mean, I believe we were still live on our feed whenever I chucked him out the window.
Right.
Yeah, that feed was going basically to the pirate signal too. So it wasn't necessarily going to the mainstay TV stations and things like that. But you also happen to notice that like all of your faces are out there because it was broadcasting from Muffins. So there is all wanted posters for every single one of you, essentially. And the creature, because that was shown as well. Because Muffins was broadcasting the whole time while Catassie was doing her thing. And so
Do they really want it? It's pretty terrifying. I don't know if I'd be like, bring that thing to me.
It's a little bit more like sensationalized journalism of, the final moments of several of high profile, corporate management essentially being executed. And what they've clipped is just the moment of like you all attacking. Not all of course the lead up to it and the reasons. You just see a giant thing jump in and take out Piper. And you see Bunny Boy take out somebody that nobody really knows, but he looks important.
Right. Okay. Goddamn liberal media. I'm sorry. Continue. I'm done for a minute.
What do the rest of you want to do? And again, we can do flashback or we can do flash forward.
And my first priority after eating a delicious Denny's meal would be to go start working on Muffins and get her fixed back up.
My first priority, probably about the time we get to the Denny's, is calling Rico for a ride to a cyberdock.
And you're gonna get repaired essentially.
Because as much as I love the Grand Slam, and I do love me a Grand Slam, right? In case you haven't noticed, I don't really have a leg that's functioning right now.
Just put a little syrup on it, it'll be better.
It's the leg, not your mouth. Come on, man. Celebrate.
You can just lay it out there.
I show Bunny what the inside of my leg under the armor looks like.
Bitch, it has been a week since this entire incident. If you have not gone to the hospital and gotten that taken care of, I'm going to kick your ass.
Oh, did we fast forward again?
Yeah. Okay.
So that got fixed, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah. So which you never described this, which portion of the leg was? So is this like a knee down replacement or is this a like hip bone or hip joint down replacement?
It's more of a knee bone down because of the fight that you had when you were getting smacked around in there. Like that's where the robot, for lack of a better thing, was hitting both you and Bunny in your legs.
Ironically enough, my armor took no damage. That was the first hit he landed on me, and it went through the like joint between the plate. Mm-hmm. The armor's still in perfect shape.
Yeah, but that's why it's a knee kind of thing, because that's what's exposed versus like your hips or whatever like that. I mean, the hips don't lie, but it wasn't what was hit.
If it makes you feel better, I had all that riot gear on and they went for my right leg and turned it into hamburger meat. So I'm just like fully armored. I'm like, God damn it, they went for the leg. Oh my God. What if they shoot you in the face?
My leg. So you're all there chilling. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna be at least perusing pictures of the tower site so I can, cement what we did in our mind.
Okay.
Because that makes Muffins very happy.
I mean, there's plenty of photos from the day after. It's being memorialized already. Like,
Are we talking like
What is the
full collapse or just partial collapse?
the main tower itself, y'all put enough in that thing that brought it down. Those surrounding buildings for it, they're damaged, but those were the support structures, so they're still standing.
what's the court media saying happened?
It has a lot of pictures of you all, and essentially you were all labeled as terrorists, and that you all have brought down a major corp in the city.
How many of us have they actually identified?
Well, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
How did they see my face?
Because they have your face. Like, whatever you are, whatever this is what they have. So whatever you're presenting on the front of your face, like
Well,
they
it's just
have
my helmet, the exo helmet.
right. Unless you took it off, which I don't believe you did.
No.
Yeah.
So they don't have my real face.
Yeah.
They have
a fucking. They have a 9-foot robot with a poop emoji as a face on camera as well. Like, that's what they got, man.
Okay, just checking.
You keep saying they have your face, and I keep thinking of the Nick Cage and John Travolta film Face Off.
Nice. I guess what Billy's gonna do is Billy's gonna take this opportunity to be like, well, it's been real. It's been fun. If y'all ever want to go take out some frustrations on Texans, come find me. Okay? That's how we do. But I think it's about time for me to head back.
As you're
Wreck
saying
some of
that,
those guys.
yeah.
Some more.
As you're saying that, your waitress comes by, and they start picking up, checks and things like that. And she looks down at you. She's like, "You look familiar. Have I met you before?"
She talking to
Who?
Billy?
Yeah, she's talking to Billy.
Billy's like, nope, don't think so.
And she like looks over. She's like, "Magda, does he look familiar?" And she like points to you. And you happen to notice that like her name tag says Beata. And she's just like going back and forth. You like walk out while this whole thing's going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Please. Fucking. Oh. We will explain that in the later portion of the show.
Yeah.
Because Sean just made a joke there. Explain that later.
Yeah.
So Billy like fist bumps Bunny. Like pats Blizz on the back. Is Muffins there in his meat body?
Well, I mean, I'm probably not going to bring my bot just anywhere.
You never know. I go, God damn, Muffins, you're an ugly dude in your meat body. And then I smile.
I mean, at least I got both my legs.
I'm only missing half of one now. And then, yeah, like, look at Wild Catassie, be like, well, I said it's been fun. You ever want to go fuck up Texans? I'm out. Or if you just need a place to hide.
And Billy gets up and exits the Denny's. And the last thing you see is a rickety glass door shutting behind him.
I'm just gonna be like,
So much cooler than Titus.
He didn't even share his bacon.
Ooh. Ooh. Callback. Yeah. Speaking of Eve, what have you been doing and what would you like to do?
Well, tiny voice. I suppose right now I'm calling back to see if Abuela and her friends need anything from Denny's, because I'm assuming that our de facto base of operations is still over at the cousin's house.
She also wants a grand slam now. You may
Well,
think
yeah, of course, Abuela.
you may think that she hit the sauce tonight. And in the background you hear Blizz's mom, and she's just cackling. So it's a good chance that you're gonna walk in on like a late night poker game.
tell Abuela to tell Mom that I kept Blizzard alive like she asked. Richard
Did
Blizzard.
you just call him Blizzard?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
his official name, Richard
Blizzard.
That's fantastic.
Seeing that you're talking to Abuela, I'll be like, have her tell
Okay.
Mom I'll bring
I'm
her.
sorry, that's
something.
the first time I've actually heard his full real name playing this like
Well, we had a
a
whole
year and more.
we had a
Okay.
whole thing about how we
I'm
can't
gonna shout over the video call.
Ricardo Blizzardo.
Dick Blizzard.
Yes, Dick Blizzard.
Oh my god.
Big Blizzard! See, I just remember it better when you say the word dick in front of it.
It's a whiteout. It's the epilogue, yeah.
After that, though, I'm gonna make sure to check on Felipe, see if he wants anything from Denny's, and also I'm gonna message Ben
Ben.
and just be like,
Yeah, go ahead.
"Hey, where you at?"
You get a message back from Ben, and he's just like, at the studio. Where the hell are you at? I'm just leaving.
Do you want anything from Denny's?
Sure. Can I get some bacon? Question mark. He says hesitantly over text. And then
Not
he's
from
like,
Billy.
where
I'm
can
just
I?
gonna put a thumbs emoji
Nice. And he's kind of like, where can I
and the
meet
winking
you up?
tongue face. In a quad on campus.
Okay. I can meet you there.
See you there.
Okay. As you go to leave, so when you texted Felipe, Felipe has been recovering for the most part. You get all of those orders and you get up to leave. And everybody sitting at the table sees Eve walk out through the door. And Eve, as you go in outside, a very fancy car pulls up. A door opens up, and Felipe's on the other side in the back. It's a stretch, kind of, not stretch, but very larger car pull up. And it is, your driver Maxwell, and Felipe's in the back. And as you open the door, a puff of smoke comes out, and he's there in a, in his yellow leather jacket, shorts, high tops, trying to look as smooth as possible, even though he's still beat the fuck up. But he's trying to look smooth. And he's just kind of looks at you and he's like, going where I'm going?
And you want to help me drop off bacon?
It's not my kind of piece, but yeah, I'll go with you. And as you get in, Maxwell turns around as the glass between the two things lowers. Maxwell turns around. It's like, it's really good to see you. It's been forever.
And Maxwell, how are the kids? How's the cat?
They're all doing good. They miss you. The cat's still a bitch, though. Cats, right?
As cats will be. Yep.
Yeah. And he kind of looks around at you and he's like, where to tonight?
Well, we need to take this bacon and drop it off over at this quad over here. And I'm going to flick him the drop point. And then I'm going to say, and then we need to go and take some very special ladies all of the rest of this breakfast.
Okay. And then...
Do you want anything from Denny's?
He kind of waves his hand off and he's like, I'm good. I ate. Mom and Dad took care of me tonight, so. And the divider in between the two just starts to go back up. And it doesn't darken. Like, he can still see back there if you need to and stuff like that. That's up to you to choose. But the door shuts softly next to you. And you drive off towards the quad. For those of you who are left in the Denny's, Blizz, all of your family made it back.
Yay!
With the exception of Cook.
Lesser yay!
Cook didn't make it. And got overwhelmed on 3rd Street. And Mom took it hard at first, but she was able to pull through with the help of Abuela and many of her friends or new found friends here. And when the rest of the family started trying to think about going back to Chicago, they are looking at you on whether you're kind of given the command. Like, are we going back home? We taking Mom? Like, what are we doing?
Well, the first thing Blizz would ask, did anybody recover his body and his gun? Because at very least, that needs to be taken home.
Rico's people were able to get a body, yeah.
Okay. At that was, we may go home for now, but we're not staying. I promised, and to a lesser degree you, but to stay and help them get up. My plans is to start another family down here with some of you, hopefully, to teach some of these wannabe Third Eye how it's done and respect. At very least, I would like Fetu and Foon. I gotta pick up my thing. And Sam and Steven are the ones that I would like. The rest of you can choose if you want. And Mom can make her own decision.
Oh, as she's sitting next to Abuela as you're having this discussion back at the house. This is in a flashback. And Mom goes, "Oh, you fucking asshole, you think I'm leaving these crazy broads right now? We got fucking Pinochle next week. You go fuck off and do whatever you want, son."
That's fine with me.
All right, well, we're gonna stay here. You coming back? to hear.
We've got to go take care of Cook
Okay,
and bring back at least one of our stashes.
fair enough. Tell his sister I love her still. She's such a lovely little one.
And by the way, I made some recruiting posters. And it's like a very badly, crudely drawn like poster of Third Eye wants you.
But it's in crayon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something about heresy and the Xeno scum is on there too.
Nobody knows what that means. But they go like, yeah, cool. And they are very confused, but they're into it. They're vibing.
Well,
You know?
I'm gonna. Is Puddles there? The dude I kicked in the nuts.
No, he's not there.
Is one of those other guys there?
No, they've long since not been welcomed back.
Well, I want to find somebody lower down and be like, "You're in charge of putting these up," and just hand him one.
Okay. You hand it off to like one of Rico's crew and they kind of like take it for a second and they're like, thank you. And they look over at Rico and Rico's got a beer in his hand and he's like,
But we will, if Mom wants, she can, before or after she goes and plays Pinochle, if she wants to, search for another hideout, preferably better than shipping containers. But
okay. You guys will be taking care of that. And back in the diner, the several of you that are there, all of a sudden you just hear, and Fetu leans out of this like weird jacked up truck, like rusty bucket truck, and it's just like, come on fucker, let's go, get in bitch, we're going shopping.
what kind of shopping? Bacon? So I have bacon right here.
And you just hear Foon go, stop it, you dumb shit, that's from a movie, we're going home, get in.
But they have bacon.
Well, fucking stop for bacon on the way.
I want bacon and tacos. I want a bacon taco.
Foon just hangs his head and he just like opens the door. And like he's just hanging through the door as he opens it up. So like imagine him just kind of like draped over the open window as he like opens the door and like kicks it open.
I want to get up and be like, Bunny, everybody else that's still here, I will be back. I don't know if you want to take that as a threat or whatever. It's up to you. But I've got to go take care of a fallen person. Cook.
Go to the bathroom. We'll be here.
Well, no, I'm going. Well, I guess Chicago could be considered a toilet. So I guess I'm going home. But I will be back.
Don't threaten me.
Safe travels. See you soon.
It'd be better if Bunny was driving. Bunny drives so smooth.
Not here. Not in front of everybody.
At that, I guess I'll go and like do like a wannabe flying jump into the car, but miss.
You smack yourself into the side of the car, just clunk.
And then I'll get in and I guess I'll just like sprawl out like, you know, an asshole does in the back seat that like takes up like 4 seats.
You're like laying across people at that point, but yeah. So Foon kind of like gets himself back in, shuts the door, and Fatu just guns it. And those of you inside the Denny's just hear a peel out and then a screech and then just up the street as they drive
My
away.
man.
So I believe that leaves Bunny, Catassie, and Grifter.
I, at some point, when it seemed appropriate, would want to call Noelle Juliet. I mean, well, maybe not call him. Maybe text him. That's better. He seems to be the kind of text first kind of person.
Okay, what do you text him?
I like. Did you see the thing?
Number disconnected.
He ghosted me. What a dick.
He give you a fake number after you bought him a drink? My God.
What a dick.
It's almost as if you're not entitled to people's time because you chose to gift them with something.
I thought we had a thing.
Catassie's gonna order a couple of Grand Slams from the road and then go steal a vehicle with large fuel capacity and head towards the tower so I can be queen of some weirdos.
What are the rest of you nerds doing? I'm gonna direct that at the table.
It's literally just you and Bunny at this point.
Yeah. Well, fine. What are the rest of you nerds doing?
No, he was literally talking to the table.
Oh, okay, got it.
He's having a slight hallucination, Grifter.
The little bits of salt and sugar that are sprinkled on the tabletop. What are you guys doing?
Must have borrowed some Advil from Mr. Blizzard over there.
It's pronounced Blizzard.
If I recall right, Bunny was the only other person that lived in Angel City other than me.
Excuse me, use my queen's name, Richard Blizzard.
Wait, who's your queen? We have queens?
You're not here.
Is the queen's name like the British version of when somebody uses your government name?
I have a very serious question.
We have governments here?
Ricardo Blizzardo.
Not anymore. We're kind of taking him out at the knees. It's pretty much our whole deal.
Is the gator outside?
I mean, this is a week later. We didn't just land the helicopter here and go in
I
and
don't
eat.
know.
Right?
You might have decided not to bring it for some reason. I just want to make.
Oh, nah, I would have brought it.
So just to cap off this season, for me, for my own edification. As soon as I pay the bill at Denny's, I'm gonna go walk outside and trigger the flare that's been on the gator since like episode 10 that we never used. I'm gonna do it just so we can say we did it.
Did I know about that? I can't
yeah,
remember
I
if
told
you
you
ever
about it.
told me about it. Okay.
I never told you how to use it, but you knew it was there because it was like welded right onto the roll bars.
It was a 6-episode mini arc.
It did take a while, didn't it?
It was a whole thing.
So I'm just gonna walk out into the parking lot and just boop, fire them off.
Make him roll for that. I want to see if he can critical fail that and burn the Denny's down.
You know what? Sure, let's do it.
Let's do
You
it.
and Flares at the
Already
Denny's.
committed person in this Denny's parking lot, guys.
Well, I got an 18, so less than a 1.
Okay. It
I will
wasn't a
just
one.
point out, my craftsmanship works flawlessly.
You only started a fire in our hearts.
Muffins did not start the fire.
It's always been burned
burning.
since the world's been turned.
Thank you, thank you.
What's the gator look like right now? Is it like on fire? Is it safe?
Oh no, it's like you just saw fireworks, like a Roman candle, basically go off from
Okay.
the gator into some other place over on the other side of a fence.
Okay. As long as the gator's not in trouble.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I make good stuff.
Well,
Not sentences, but probably other stuff.
I ain't English good.
I do things good.
Why use many words, one small word good?
One small word's good. See world.
Yeah, so Bunny, if you want to hang out, we can. I got a garage.
I've got to go wash my hair tonight, actually. No. That would be great. I'd like to see you. I have an aside question.
Yes.
Lore-wise.
Yes, please.
IDENTECO largely is, from what I've read, set in the U.S. Is the rest of the world like peachy as far as
Nope.
right now? No, is Japan a thing?
Yep.
Right now. Okay.
Very much so.
So Bunny's gonna
Depends
be
what you
like,
mean by
yeah,
peachy.
well, you know,
The America,
Is it-
and they're gotta remember, there's no more United States.
is it
States
blown
don't
up?
exist.
No, it is still a
Thriving
thriving country.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Yeah, so
Tokyo's like twice the
Bunny-
size it currently is, though.
Bunny will just be like, yeah, we'll hang out. Before I go, I'm thinking about moving. We'll see.
Are you and
Good
Sarah
lord.
still a thing?
Who?
How's that going, Sarah?
Oh God.
You should
He
probably
said
tell her,
who? He said who?
dude. That's cold, bro.
I loved that look because it was just like he had that look like, oh shit, I should call her.
Did you leave her on red this whole time?
Hit
Yeah.
her with the out of sight,
Yeah,
out of
dude.
mind.
Wow.
Dang.
I mean-
Sorry,
Straight-
daughter.
Straight ghosted.
Woo!
I mean, that's
Cold, boo.
Bunny, we
Well-
expected better.
No,
TBH.
and he did it at the end of the ultimate Irish goodbye. Like,
you don't get to pressure me to be in a relationship that I
Look.
don't necessarily want to be in. I almost got blown up.
Look, if you don't want to talk to her, that's cool. I'll even tell her that you died in that building collapse if you want me to.
Just own your shit and be honest with people. Here's your PSA moment. Just be who you are, because guess what? They're going to find out who you are. And when they do, they're going to be annoyed that you lied to them.
Well, who Bunny is a slacker and irresponsible. So
Then
that lines up.
Leaving her on red for 2 months is completely on
Okay.
brand.
Okay, I will text her. Be like,
She's
hey.
dating Bunny Boy, not Prime Day Pete.
Well, true.
Text her and be like, hey, sorry I haven't responded well. I was killed in that explosion.
I'm better now. Turns out that spraying Windex on it thing really does work.
Yeah, I'll text her. Like, oh, this is a great idea. And I'll start texting her right then. Be like, sorry, I haven't responded. I hurt my leg and now I am being relocated. Period. Deployed soon. Don't know where. It was nice meeting you. Thanks. Good luck. Bye.
Okay.
That's all I got.
That's fine. No,
Smiley
that's fine.
face, thumbs up, peace.
Okay. All right. We're gonna leave it at that then. That is the ultimate Bunny Boy goodbye letter. It ends with a smiley face, a thumbs up, and a peace sign.
Well, as far as future plans for Muffins / Grifter, I would probably look into keep my comms open in case Mr. Juliet chooses to respond at some point. And then possibly go visit with old Hades and see if he might have some use for a 9 foot tall, 800-pound war robot in his dealings. You know, doing the normal mercenary shit that I always do.
Reliable.
Reliable.
That's what you are.
Maybe go visit Damascus since, I'm from there.
So I'm gonna wrap this part up then with a couple of little shots to end it here. While the building was coming down, the camera and the viewer sees a rather tall Noel Juliet sitting on an adjacent building on a rooftop with his trench coat blowing in the wind. Because y'all left his ass, by the way.
Who?
Look, we didn't so much
New
leave
phone,
him
who
as
dis?
we had ultimate confidence he could take care of himself.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
Also, he didn't even ask to get picked up. He should have just said something if he didn't want to get left. So,
He hangs
sorry.
up. He hangs up And he sits down just on one of the air conditioning ducts, and you can see he's talking to somebody on his phone. And he goes, "What about the hacker up north, Apex, right?" And the voice on the other end of the line goes, "She's made her choice. She'll live with those consequences. But we both know a bullet's not going to fix a broken heart." And Noel puts the phone down, turns it off, hangs up, looks at it. He says, "Till we meet again," and flings the glow off the top of the building that he's on. And he turns around and he walks away. And then we cut to Catassie, who is driving out in Golden Fields. Just windows down, hair blowing in her face. And she's out in the middle of the wastes, headed towards this place that really only she knows where it's at. And just as the last second before we cut away from her, you see Digi kind of pop up with shades on, and he puts a hoof right outside the window. And then the other hoof starts doing this as they drive off. And then we cut to Bunny in Japan. And he's talking with some artists, and he's sharing some ideas about this new show he's trying to work with. And it's in the back of like a dark, seedy kind of karaoke bar, and there are just like drawing on napkins and stuff, but Bunny Boy's doing that. Yeah, he's like, yes. And to be honest, the drawing's starting to look pretty good.
That's the creative process, my man.
Blizz is on his way back to Chicago with what is essentially his family. Eve has returned a little bit. She plays the dual role between her previous life and the current life that she's trying to live. Muffins is hanging up in the back of Hades' shop, behind the scenes, on a nice rack, where Hades and his assistant are sitting there looking at it, and they get down to the crotch flare launcher, and they're like, "Wait, what?"
Eccentric add-on.
And you don't necessarily, you just hear that moment of it, and you see them just kind of like scratching their heads trying to figure out what's going on. And then you see finally Billy, who is sitting on a beach surrounded by his compatriots, and he's sipping a beer down by the border and just kind of looking around, nodding his head. And that's where we end. And then just somewhere in Europe, Sarah Jane is sitting in a museum, and a somewhat short Asian woman walks up to her and puts her hand on her back. And Sarah Jane looks very confused for a bit. And you can see a single tear sort of run down her face. And the Asian woman starts to walk her out of the museum. And then we finally cut to Detroit. There are people everywhere. There's fireworks going off. There are laser light shows. It is the Apex Music Festival. 10 days of nothing but music and muscle cars and races. It's Heathen's Paradise. The only free mega city left in America. And we cut down to a young driver going neck and neck, coming around the final corner, beating and banging, rubbing and racing. And as the dust settles down, the driver does a little spin out, and nobody knows this rookie's name, but they see the bunny on the front of the car, and everybody just starts chanting, "Bunny, bunny, bunny, bunny." 40, 50, 60,000 people chanting that. And that's where we end for this campaign of Angel City Stories. Thank you all so much for humoring me for the last bit of this, for playing with me for 50 sessions now, for tuning in, for those of you who are watching on Twitch, for those of you who've been keeping up on YouTube, in the podcast, and in our Discord. Thank you so much. This has been, outside of creating the game, this has been one of the largest projects that we have ever done. And it is a distinct and true honor to be able to do this and just have fun with my friends every week. It is beyond the shadow of a doubt my highlight to the week, because I get to see people in the middle of what we did in terms of a pandemic and getting through. This and you all tuning in have been a huge part of being able to just get through all of it. And I will and have hopefully been able to try to repay what that feeling is to you all. But just know that we love you. And we love that you've been tuning in and that you've been helping us through this and supporting us, because this is Alex and I especially have been working on this for 7 years now at this point, and we were working on this before we both had kids. So now we have small children and damn near adults running around our house at this point. And it's been an absolute pleasure and honor the whole way through. So thank you all for that. We're going to take a bio break, but that's not the end of the stream, because when we come back, there's stories and there are questions. Load them up in the chat, because the veil comes down. We're just going to talk for the rest of the stream. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to answer cast questions. I'm here. We'll lay it all out for you when we get back. All right. Hang tight. Oh, welcome back.
Oh, we've actually got a bunch of questions.
We have a bunch of questions in the chat, which I love to see, because that's we got a lot to talk about. So
look, you got to be careful of questions. They go places you don't want them to.
Yeah. So here's the first thing that I'm going to say now that we said that is wrapped. So there's a few things that are going to be happening. We're going to keep you updated on the schedule, because we're going to be back right here next week. I can't point to it correctly. Those two fucking nerds have to talk about Star Wars. And so all of the cast is invited, because wouldn't it be funny for the Peanut Gallery to be here, right? Because these two, one likes Ahsoka, the other doesn't. And with new Star Wars properties coming out on Disney Plus this next week, we figured it might be fun to just have a little podcast style chat. And we're going to stream it for you guys.
We're gonna watch the first few episodes and talk about them.
It's gonna be hilarious. Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious.
Also, just a preview, Ahsoka is a better Jedi than Luke Skywalker.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'll save it for next week. Save it for next week. If you've seen any of my old podcasts and stuff like that, these two get into it heated about nerd culture. It's fantastic.
Alex, you just gave him a week to marinate in salt.
No,
bud.
he's had a year. We have had this particular thing planned for at least a year.
After a comment like that, I'm going to have to check on the TOS to see what I can get away with saying.
He has OneNote open, like has had OneNote open, just mounting a defense.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So join us next week at our normal time, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on twitch.tv/Identico. We promised you talkie streams after the campaign. This is going to be the first one, and I can't wait. I'm just going to be sitting here with my bag of nuts. Just wait, that's not edible. There we go. You're just shoveling nuts in my mouth while these two chuckle fucks talk. It'll be
So
great.
I gave you a bag of popcorn, but it's on the bed behind me, so
Yeah.
I can't.
So, I'm just saying, come back to us next week. After that, schedule wise, everybody on this cast has New World, and so what better thing to do than to play New World with each other?
Apparently, I'm buying New World.
Yeah, Alex doesn't know yet, but he's buying New World. Well, I've been selling him on this for a while now.
He has.
Good.
So,
Do
yeah.
it.
So join us for that, and then after, we're gonna have some of those streams no matter what, because this crew likes to play New World, and it's a chill kind of game, at least for us. So come and join and chill with us when we're streaming and things like that. Yeah, the fishing, we may end up having a cast fishing tournament. I don't know. Well, it's all about that.
Mining's my favorite bit.
Let's just set up the juxtaposition. Calm fishing session while he and I yell about Star Wars over the top of
It's
it.
entirely possible, but just know that that's going to be coming, because we love us some New World. At the same time, this little game called Far Cry is coming out, and if you've never seen Joe and I stream Far Cry together, it's a treat. So apparently there's a chicken that can attack things for you in the game. Joe, we're gonna have a blast.
If you
There's
guys
a-
haven't seen the previews of the Pero in Far Cry 6
There's a
that has the little
dachshund.
wheelchair?
There's a
Yeah.
dachshund named Chorizo who is in a wheelchair.
Cutest fucking dog I've ever seen in my life. And you can pet it in the game. I can't wait.
I'm always iffy on Far Cry. I've been waiting for this one because of the subject matter, and they either going to do a great job or they're going to screw this up so bad.
And you know what? The best part about it is when Joe and I are playing, either way, we win, because we will bring some quality content for you. It won't be Bear Force 1, because I don't think there's bears in the game, but that's fine. We will live up to
Bears?
Cheeseburger. We'll bring him
Let's-
along.
Let's be
I have one
honest.
in chat.
Let's be honest. It'll be Mallo playing the game and me setting everything on fire while he's talking to the question.
So it's really just my character and Muff the whole time, is what we're trying to
Can
say.
I
Yes,
make
ma'am.
a request
Yes,
that you don't make Joe laugh so hard that he passes out?
I can make no
This
guarantee.
is a thing he started doing.
I can make no guarantee. I will certainly try not to kill my friend via playing Far Cry, but I can make no, I'll be on camera, he's not, so God only knows what's happening behind the scenes. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say.
Also, not great for you two to stream Far Cry if you're in the same location as either one of you, because you just hear random screaming and giggling like tiny, tiny girls from another part of the house, and it's very confusing.
I could also sit behind Joe, and every time he gets shot, poke him with something sharp.
I like this.
For those of you in chat who aren't, though, also, our Chaos Inc. game is going to go Monday.
Yep.
And you should definitely, I know some of you see this game but don't see that one, come check that out. My favorite new part, and Steph is in chat right now, is she and Kaylee are having a wonderful time trying to get Caleb's character to make more bold sartorial decisions. Like
Yeah.
big hats.
Yeah.
Really big hats.
Big green hats.
Big green, neon green hats
Yeah.
with neon green zoot suits.
Yeah.
Okay.
They learned from this. They learned from this stream. It's there. It's bleeding over. So
Okay. So
yeah.
that one's really starting to like come into its own. So if you haven't catch the back episodes.
Yeah.
But if you haven't caught up there, like that one's really rolling forward. Yeah, see, Steph's in there like neon hats.
Yes. So we say that to say is that consistently, Chaos Inc. is still going on. We will still be streaming at our usual time each week. There is another campaign coming up.
Yes.
It will be Identico in space. Wait, I have echo for this. Hold on. I got echo for this.
Oh, you do.
Space. Wait, I gotta hit the thing. Space.
I don't know if that worked or not.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear it.
So there you go.
Nice.
That's
It's just a crazy man to us, just yelling space into the microphone.
It doesn't give you guys the. It
I
doesn't.
can't hear.
Oh.
No, you're just going space. Space.
Well, I hope for everybody at home you got my fun. You got my fun. My fun echo and stuff like that. So, anyways, it's gonna be Identico in space. We will announce the cast and stuff like that here very soon. So we will again have a second weekly show for that.
But see, y'all don't know yet. You're gonna get a special treat, because for those that have seen the one shots, you've seen this. But if you haven't seen the one shots, and for those that are regulars on this one, because the Identical in Space will be on Wednesdays, you're gonna get to see Mallo play. Okay.
I get to step out from behind the GM screen.
Yes,
which
you're
means-
getting a Mallo character now.
Which means these fuckers are gonna let me down, and I'm gonna roll a bunch of ones.
I just hope
So I'm
to
gonna-
God you drive better than you did the time that I was playing.
Okay,
with you.
but in fairness, I'm gonna roll
So
two
rude.
characters. I'm gonna roll two characters to start with, because I know what he's gonna try to do. The first character. So
I don't kill characters. I let them kill themselves.
It's not what you said when
Yeah.
Billy took her, or Titus took her out of the face.
That was your fault.
No.
So, Alex will be GMing that particular game. He and I have been workshopping the setting and some of the details and stuff like that. We have also been workshopping Merry Heistmas. So yes, our annual tradition will continue. This one's gonna be fun. I can't wait. Alex is he's working on some of the diagrams and stuff like that. I'm already working on some of the visuals. So as we get into the holiday season, guess what? We're gonna get cheery and we're gonna steal some shit because it's a Heistmas. So there you go.
And you're, for those of you who've been watching the news lately, you're really gonna love who we're gonna rob this year from Merry Heistmas.
It's gonna be fantastic.
That's the way I ran this one by Sean. I was like, this is what I want to do. He's like, little too on the nose. And I was like, no. And he's like, you're right. Let's just go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. We hit on we hit on one particular part of the theme, and we both went, ooh, at the same time. And so,
Like,
yeah.
and we're going.
Yeah. So get excited because that's going to happen as well. So lots of updates and changes here soon. If you have not become a member of our Discord, if you're in Twitch right now, there should be a link down below. Come join us in Discord. If you like this show, it basically is there all the time on Discord. It's fun. Somebody died. Who died? Pete died.
Cassie.
Pete died.
Pete died.
He died.
Pete's
Oh,
back.
Pete died. Oh, he's
Pete's
back.
coming back.
Stop blaming me for things, Alex. Jeez, do you want to fight with me too?
I'm sorry. I was looking at the
Listen,
wrong one.
do you want to fight about Star Trek? Because me
Oh,
you know what?
and you don't have the lobes, bud.
I
Oh,
love Star Trek.
Cassie,
I
you're-
bet you
you're
I wouldn't
Blizz
even
now.
fight with you.
I actually have only ever really seen a few episodes of DS9 because it's the show that I watch when I need to take a nap. I love it, but it puts me to sleep.
DS9 has got that kind of mode to it. and
Something about Space Dad is just very safe and reassuring, and I'm like, God damn it, Cisco's on deck. I'm good. I can take a nap.
Yeah.
We cool.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm totally down. Totally down.
so all of that to say, keep tuning in. We appreciate your support. We're only going to expand this universe, and quite literally, because there are some other things that we're working on behind the scenes that we'll be able to talk about even more coming up soon. So keep tight. And what I was saying about the Discord is, though it hates to kick us out because we've been having audio and sync issues all night, you do get to talk to us directly in the Discord. We have a lot of fun there. We do a lot of goofy shit. So come join us if you haven't already. It's free and you get cool things. So
and we play games like all the time. And you're welcome to join us.
That too. We have three
And
different. Yeah, go ahead.
We exchange recipes.
Oh yeah, we do that a lot too. Because
yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. All right, we had an ask here. We're gonna get into the questions now. We had an ask. How many tamales have been thrown in the game? And then somebody followed it up with
10.
somebody followed it up with IRL or Game World.
Here's what I want to do, because I don't think the chat knows, because this happened off stream, where tamales came from.
Like in the game world, or like at nutritional
where the Eve tamales thing came from.
Because they're delicious.
No, there was a game that Eve played. It was, I consider it technically Eve's first session.
Yeah. Keep
Which
telling
was
the
not
story.
played on stream.
It
Yeah.
was
No, I
Eve's
want-
first session. It was Eve's first session. We were supposed to stop an assassination, and we went and cased a bar and music venue. And I tried to sneak in the back, got caught by the bartender. I literally just started with, "Hi, what's your name?" and asked for some water. Tried to play the damsel in distress, and then came back with a bag of tamales as a thank you so that I could bribe him to be my friend. And then I started offering tamales to just about every other character that I interacted with, including a bodyguard that I freaked the hell out about having his daughter in the mosh pit. He did not have a daughter in the mosh pit. He broke his cover. He was scared. He ran. I
If
did
they're
not
your
throw a tamale at him, though.
if they're your
Yes.
signature, does that make them Tamal Eves?
Nice.
Pun check.
So, I think I'd have to ask Abuela.
Very nice. Very nice.
One of the other questions we had in here was, which fight scene was the character's favorite?
Murdering the dudes when they were humping in the back.
Wow, that's a callback to the original.
You're really fast with that.
Because it's one of my favorite things. Like that to me kind of showcased how Grifter processed things. And the specific statement was that if they're not outside, if everyone hasn't surrendered in, I think it was like 5 minutes or something at the time, that anyone who hadn't surrendered was going to get killed. And those two were the only two people in the entire place that did not come out with the rest of them. So I fulfilled my mission. I kicked down the door, saw them in there, and hosed them.
I sincerely doubt you gave them 5 minutes. I'm gonna go with maybe 60 seconds.
No, I'm fairly certain we made a specific point to make it the stated amount of time.
We did a full round around that building, I remember. So I was bashing people with my bat and also shooting them with the shotgun, so...
I believe that was the first session too where Bunny and Blizz came together as bros. So
I pushed a guy off the roof that was handcuffed.
yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm gonna say the roof fight, because I got to botch all those rolls while essentially I just tried to kick the guy in the ankles and shot him in the ankles to knock him down. That was I think that was Bunny's first real fight, and it was he totally failed, like horribly. So that kind of set the tone.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, mine has to be two of them. They're from the same session. I can't remember if it was PAX or Emerald City that we played this one at. It was when Blizz took a Gauss rifle round to the head and survived, and then proceeded to RPG the same dude on accident that just shot me with a railgun.
So this is part of Blizz's backstory, that if you've played with us at ECC or PAX in the past, or NorwestCon, some of the characters here have come from that. And so in this particular session, I believe it was PAX, where we were having our sort of end of PAX blowout game. And yeah, Blizz, that's actually the same session where Blizz lost his leg.
And that was actually going to be my next one. Is when Grifter or Muffins was climbing up on the giant rob, punching it in the nuts, and I was firing RPGs at it and almost hitting Grifter a couple times, and then my leg get vaporized.
Literally got vaporized in a half second. One roll. That's all it took. Roll.
I should take the time to point out, true to form, Muffins was actually the one that fired the Gauss rifle round that hit him in the head.
Yes, I know.
And he was also the one that picked out my leg arm.
Yeah, it was kind of on the drive back into basically America, because you guys were down in Texas for that particular fight, I think. And you were making your way back to the border in that particular fight.
Is that one of the Texas ones?
It was. I believe that's, we said that one in, it was an early playtest model.
Is that the kaiju one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Spoilers, there's kaiju in Identico.
Pardon?
It's like basically, how big are they? They're giant robs.
At least 30 feet tall.
Yeah.
Is the smallest ones.
Kaiju, Gundam, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
This bunny? Huh. Go ahead.
He's now thinking about kaiju-sized rovers now.
I'd also like to throw in the fight, and I put that in quotes, where Billy got his face vaporized, because it very much...
Billy never got his face vaporized.
Not Billy, Titus, I'm sorry. Billy's way cooler than Titus. Yeah, that fight, because it was a shock to me. It really kind of grounded us and kind of took away that air of invincibility that you frequently feel whenever you're playing an RPG. So, touche, Mallo.
I would also like to throw in the confrontation of Zaddy with me and Catassie as an honorable mention, because we were legitimately fighting SWAT people in the mansion in a rubber chicken bikini.
Yes. My favorite is also going to be a toss-up between the one where we got Homeboy's mixtape and Bunny helped with some
I did my
server
best.
retrieval.
Yep.
And the time that we got the plant back.
Yeah.
I will say a close runner-up to the mid-coitus murder spree was probably the time I basically stood on the ground floor and was throwing fold-up tables and man covers at police on the 4th floor.
Yeah, did y'all think when we started this whole thing that like a plant was gonna lead to basically destroying a corporate tower? Like, did it just seem like the weirdest thing in the world that y'all were after a plant at first, and then all of a sudden it started kind of unraveling to what it was? A lot of head shaking. Okay.
Yeah. That's not what I thought we were going to be retrieving first thing.
I'm honestly,
sure.
The only thing I'm surprised about in regards to the plant is that Blizz over there didn't make a salad out of it and just start munching on it.
Hey, Blizz never really got an opportunity to get hold of it.
I definitely expected one of the botany students to go rogue with it. Like, I figured we were gonna end up making our own, like, counter criminal, like, empire to undercut Benevolent.
I definitely saw a weird drug empire.
Go ahead.
Can I just throw out huge props to Mallo for just walking with the fact that we basically just blundered ourselves into college? Like, I mean, totally unscripted, totally unplanned, and we just kind of all ended up enrolled in college.
Yeah.
I remember the after conversation after that session. He was like, so, I guess you're all in college? I have a whole bunch of extra shit to write for next week now.
With Jan Sports. With Jan Sports, we were very specific about that one.
Quality is important.
Full of Beecher's cheese.
Full of Beecher's cheese.
And
we are not sponsored by them yet.
Yep.
But we would like to be, if possible.
I think after visiting the Tillamook factory, would you give up on Beecher's? I'm going Tillamook now.
Okay.
I love Tillamook.
Real
time.
good.
Yeah.
That was the time that the Grifter ended up putting on a lab coat, and I'm fairly certain Grifter never took it off for the rest of the game.
That's actually true. Yeah. Speaking of Beecher, I mean, I think that I would like to think that had given the chance, Eve would have offed him herself. Is that true?
Can you repeat that? Because I feel like I heard that wrong.
You would have given the chance, you would have offed Beecher. You had a couple chances, but I feel like as the game went along, you were like eyeing this dude like way harder than I expected you to.
Yeah, I don't trust him. He's in the same pool as Noel Juliet. I don't trust him either. Honestly, had he presented his issue to me in a less, I don't know, if he communicated better, I probably would have helped him with the locked away memories and shit like that, but I don't think I would have killed him unless, of course, I was clairvoyant, because then I definitely would have killed him. Yeah.
Muffins probably would have killed him anyway.
Well, it's interesting the kind of like way that y'all took some of that stuff, because like in some ways what y'all did with that forced the like Benevolent's hand to like go quicker, right? And it's like the Zaddy character was always like mega flawed, obviously, right? And like the background to Beecher, like Zaddy basically rescued Beecher from near death, right? And you know, Beecher had a husband who was killed by the mob, and Zaddy was able to kind of protect Beecher and things like that. He had, you know, his own sort of like drug and alcohol addiction issues and things like that, and eventually got cleaned up, and he was a college professor. Zydarian, being an underground sort of kingpin, never kind of gave up that life, even though Beecher wanted to get out of that life. And like, it's just one of those things where like Beecher was looking for an out, Zydarian didn't want to get out, and poor choices were made, and it kind of left to even more poor choices down the line. And then in walks you guys that basically like threw all sorts of wild cards into what was going on. You know, the background to the whole plant thing was Beecher set the kid up. Like the kid was going to get picked up by Benevolent had y'all not interjected. And then boom, Benevolent has what they need to get started.
I knew he was a bastard.
Well, the kid was going to live. He had worked that part out, or at least he thought he did. Benevolent being benevolent, you never know. Depends on how I roll in D20 over here. But because apparently I just like killing NPCs and people. Apparently, I don't know. That's a theme over these number of episodes. We have a lot of cats going in here. Yes. A lot of love for Tillamook. All right, Tillamook, step up. Next game's coming. I will put your logo right there where the GM spot will be.
We just need to send him like a pitch deck or something.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a couple of legitimately we have a couple of other affiliates coming that we will have hopefully by the time we start the next game. So we've had a few people that we've been talking to for that. So keep on the lookout for that because it'll be fun.
We have more questions.
Yes. Which questions should we take next? Just pick one.
All right. Cults and religions. Cults are cool. They don't have to make sense. What can you tell us about this in this society? So the short answer is that cults don't have to make sense, but they don't evolve in a vacuum. So they almost do make sense. The two biggest ones that we've introed so far is there's a couple of different, call them Luddite style cults that hate technology, specifically cybernetics. You can read more about that here.
So we did encounter one cult.
Okay, and then the other one was the one that Mallo introduced for this stream, which was the weird, like, wannabe AdMech people.
I made that cult specifically for Joe.
I figured you did, and I was like, they're just wannabe AdMech. Like,
I was fine with helping them out, but everyone else was like, no, you don't need a dark generator.
I literally threw that at y'all, not knowing how this was gonna go, because except for Joe, I knew exactly how Joe was going to basically get a metal boner for this group and then want to stick with it. I did not know how the rest of the group was going to react to just like being underground all of a sudden with these like cyborged out people who believe that like the flesh is weak kind of thing.
So cool.
I mean, let it be known right now that if the rest of the group hadn't so vehemently objected to it, I would have happily provided them with a dark wave generator.
Notice, I didn't object. As soon as Mallo mentioned that, my brain went off and was just like, yes, we are in the shit now. This is so cool. And everybody's like, we don't need it. And I'm kind of with you, Joe. It's just like, well, okay, maybe we'll come back to him later. Titus, I think, was like, you don't want to do that. Interesting.
For the record, that group is called the Sixth Sanctum.
So
if you would like to use it in your home game, you're welcome.
They're going to be, all cults and religions are going to be reactions to what society is doing. As many of you know, Texas is basically a theocracy at this point. Like, they've gone down that road in IDENTECO, in all but name.
Aren't we there already today, pretty much?
Another question. Are there underwater communities? No. There's underwater research, and there's floating islands. Mallo wrote up a big thing about manufactured islands once.
Yes.
And it's sitting in... So, this is our secret shame. We have a giant cutting room floor. Mallo and I do. Of crap. Not crap. Actually, I think good content that we've started... like have a good framework for and just have never had the time or the ability to like finish developing. So the short answer is no underwater, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. There's underwater research, but there is cool big like floating islands that are semi-sovereign and move around the ocean.
And we've also established in one of the Chaos Inc. episodes that there are floating like data servers and things like that. So there is other ways, as you'll start to see through the shows, that information is passed and stored and things like that. One of the questions in here is how many levels of illegal is Digi? Not illegal at all, actually. It's a avatar representation of a computer program. Like,
as long as Digi, you guys gotta remember, as long as Digi doesn't crack it at type 3 or type 4 AI, right, then it's legal. Type 2 AI is fine.
Yeah.
Type 3 and 4 are the only ones that are prescribed in IDENTECO.
Yeah.
How down the rabbit hole did we go in Scarring the Midwest? Mallo and I are on watch lists. Dead serious. So, like, all seriousness, I am under what's considered continuous investigation by the federal government. Like, dead serious, because of the clearances that I hold.
It has nothing to do with the game. You just took a left fucking turn. Like,
what I'm saying is
how did y'all score the Midwest? I am under constant surveillance by the federal government. We're on Twitch, dude. Like, chill.
We're on a watch list somewhere. There is a couple of websites where you can go simulate nuclear like detonations and stuff like that. Mal and I spent a good chunk of time figuring out how to build the Scar and where it would be and how bad it would be and what the half-life would be. It's pretty deep.
Well, I did take that a little bit and go farther, because technically the Scar real world, the Scar would be like Chernobyl nowadays. You can actually go, you can't spend a lot of time in there, but you're not gonna fucking die immediately. Yeah. Our Scar, way more dangerous. You have to have a special protection to get through there. It's very, very wide as well, so like you can't just drive through it in a car and hope for the best. It doesn't work that way. Because that's more interesting to a story, right? We're going to take some bits of the science and run with it where we can, because as creators, that's what we do.
I'm sad, so because Wixie doesn't look like they're in chat still. If you're still there, I can't see you. But what type of service garage caters to 20-ton robot battle suits? Like, is it a special garage or just Jiffy Lube, whatever you have a group on for?
I'm kind of wondering
Such a Wix question.
I was kind of wondering if he's directing that at me, because I mentioned that I had a garage.
Yeah.
I mean, Muffins is not 20 tons by any means. But, like, if that's what the question was about, and Wixie is listening, it's not really a garage specifically, but it's a old, I think we said it was an old, like, automotive garage that I purchased from somebody.
Yeah.
And converted it into Grifter's home/workshop.
Yeah. One of the things that Bunny Boy would be able to do while he is in Japan is there are essentially like mechanized fights. So it's like MMA, but for Robs. That's a whole thing.
Wasn't there like a Hugh Jackman movie?
It was, that was just, well, but that was just punch 'em robots. Like, it's our version of it, and it's cooler.
Our
And
version is cooler.
What's funny to me about that movie is one of my friends is actually an extra in that movie. He's in the background of one of the fight scenes.
Okay.
He just happened to live near where they were filming and managed to get a spot.
So speaking of that, Bit Player asked, are athletic agencies as bad now as they are in terms of corruption, racism, and eliminating the competition? How strong are gambling cartels in influencing this? Probably worse. We actually got pitched a sports book a while back. And there's a long pitch to it. I have told the people involved to go write it, and we will publish it.
Yeah. We like the idea a lot.
And like I said, the long pitch has a lot of the stuff about the different types of sports that have developed, like with cybernetics and rods and everything else, like rover football.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's that gambling being legal in most places by the time IDENTECO comes around. They, of course, have a huge influence on it. But again, it's entertainment. It's kind of like pro wrestling. Like, it's entertainment. Like,
yeah. If a corporation can find a way to profit off of it, and they don't, and they basically are doing user-generated content, which is essentially what that is, they will take it. Hi, Amazon. Wink. As we give you user-generated content.
Thanks for the 50% cut.
Yeah.
Are there any animals left to rescue? Sure.
I feel sure there's a couple.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, and again, I dropped the book. Read the book. There's corporations that even now, so if you take what's happening now, and one of the things that we did with IDENTECO, we continue to do, is we go, what's happening now? Let's just throw that forward and sprinkle some shenanigans on it. There's corporations that are trying to do green technology and things like that. They do sustainable work. It happens. And so one of the main characters, his life goal was to clean up the garbage patches in the oceans. And he did.
Yep.
I mean, you could argue E121 is probably green technology too, because it eliminated a lot of the need for fossil fuels.
Yes.
We did that on purpose. Because for
so
love of all things holy, we need that.
Yep, that's why E121 exists. We actually talked through fossil fuels, and right now we are probably in the real world at the oil peak, or just past it, where we are now officially running out of oil.
I actually had somebody yell at me at a convention when we were talking about IDENTECO, and they were like, how dare you not make fossil fuels a limited resource or whatever? And I'm like, why? Like, this is not Mad Max. It's fine. Like, it's okay to just have an energy source. Like, it doesn't mean that there is never a problem at all and a battery doesn't run out, but holy crap, like...
It also adds an unnecessary level of crunch that I just honestly don't think is enjoyable as a character.
Yeah.
That's actually, from a mechanical design perspective, the entire reason for it. We just didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Mechanically.
And you can ask a lot of the players and stuff like that. I mean, I have a document that I've been working on now that has, I think, 18 pages of either additional or rules that need to be cleaned up and things like that we'll put out here eventually. And I say eventually because every time I think that it's ready for prime time, I find something else that we need to tweak. So yeah,
the amount of rounds of information and just stuff you guys have lined up amazes me. There's not a single time that I've been around Woody where he's not like, oh, Sean, I've been thinking about this and I wrote it out, and I'm like, and that was even before I like understood IDENTECO, and I was just like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? So they always have stuff that they're working on. So just a heads up on that one, everybody.
You should hear our wives talk about it. Because for formative years of trying to write this book, there was a lot of like getting the families together, and they would just both look at us and be like, would y'all shut the fuck up, please?
I have literally heard your wife come in and poke her head into the kitchen while we were all standing around your island talking about things, and here go, oh, they're still talking about nerd shit, and then leave.
I mean, she's one to talk about nerd shit who has the, Star Trek zip up, pull over and shit like that, and her own communicator button. I'm just saying,
Yes,
but
Mallo wife.
yes.
Yeah. Seriously,
Mallo wife.
without our spouses being supportive, like, we would never have gotten this done, because like we started working on this, like Mallo said, before we had kids. Like, so we were still early in development. We were still working on the first alpha when mine was born, and I had a Mac set up in my kitchen in my townhouse in Seattle, literally where I would type while she was sleeping in a little fucking like rocker next to me in the kitchen. I'd be like, all right, must write the fucking 500 words I'm gonna get out today before she wakes up.
Now, in fairness, both of our kids have shiny math rocks now too, so they're fully inundated at this point.
Yeah,
they don't have a choice. They're probably not going to play. They're going to be like, that's their version of rebelling. Is mine's going to pick up one of these 15 guitars behind me and just like make a punk rock band and be like, yeah, Dad, fuck you. And be like, I don't want those shiny fucking math rocks. I'm going to play music.
Problem is that's not going to upset you.
Not
like,
a bit.
That's the secret of parenting, is you get them to rebel in ways that you approve of, but you secretly be like, no, please don't.
But my problem would be like, no, please don't pick up that, no. And then I just put on like, headphones while she's like not hitting notes correctly, and I'm just walking away disappointed. Damn them. Oh my goodness. We've been answering questions in the chat and stuff like that. Do you all have questions, cast members, as well? You are welcome to ask questions as well.
I think it would be pretty fun for people to talk about what their design process was for their characters and what they were trying to make their characters to be.
Ooh, I like that.
Mine's literally based on our 14-year-old daughter, and you can tell.
Can confirm. She even helped come up with the name of the character. They sat down and had a brainstorming session one day.
Yep, Kate and I built Catassie together.
Which
That's
is
why her name is short for catastrophe.
Yep. I remember in the early sessions when we had all of the meet these people and stuff like that, and that's the first thing out of Cassie's mouth was, okay, so my character's named Catastrophe. We're gonna go with Catassie for short. And I was like, this is it. This is what, like, and she was like, I think you asked me, you were like, is that okay? And I was like, yeah, no, there's no other character at this point. There is only Catassie. There is no there is no Norm. There's only Catassie. And then it's just, it's blossomed from there to its own. Like, the thing that I really love about all of these characters is that they've all become like their own like thing, like complex, beautiful people in this story. No matter how many times Joe shoots Alex's character, they're still all beautiful people. So I just want to put that in. You guys can keep talking about your thought process behind it, because I still want to hear about I really want to hear about Eve and Buddy Boy's thought processes and how that went, because both of your characters took like a left and a right turn about halfway through this campaign over 2 seasons.
Just start with how we made the characters.
Go for it, yeah.
So was it the first time we played was Christmas at Zulu's, and we rented out the basement there to play, and I hadn't really played Identico before, like kind of dabbled and stuff, but Mallo was like, "Oh, no worries," and handed me just a sheet for a greaser character, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I sat there and I was like, "I don't know, Bunny Boy," and I thought of it sort of as like a knockoff diva character, and but he just became a pacifist, fun-loving stoner, and yeah, that's the beginning anyway. I'll let Eve.
Well, I like punk things a lot. And honestly, Eve, so I didn't know that this podcast was going to happen, but I did know that Eve was going to be a way that I could work out some of my frustrations about the real world. Since, well, she has a spiky bat and a lot of sass and a very big amount of opinions and is very bossy. So thanks for letting me live out my very bossy, sassy, smashy person.
To kind of follow up on the Bunny Boy thing, he morphed over time as I started suspecting and later confirmed that I have ADHD, and it kind of wasn't out a little bit because I can't, like, as we're doing the stream, I love this story and everything. But for those of you with ADHD, you understand that even if you're super interested in it, you can't always stay laser focused, especially for 2 hours. So I'm literally sitting here playing 2048 while we're playing just to occupy. And so sometimes Bunny will space out, or he's just lazy. He's like, "Yep, I'm just hanging." So that kind of complemented my ADHD. So it's not so if you ever see that, they're one and the same, and it's just I think it makes him even more lovable whenever it happens, because he's just, I don't know, he's so oblivious and cool with life.
Much like you.
Yeah.
What was the reaction when all of a sudden I just threw NPCs at you and been like, possible love interest, possible love interest, possible love interest, possible love interest, and I'm just like serving them up on a fucking platter like it's the damn coffee shop over here, like like hazelnut latte over here, like
not interested. I honestly was like, oh shit. Because, all right, chat, this may come as a surprise to some of you. It won't come as a surprise to those of you who used to watch my streams. I have no game, and I'm fine with that. I just, like, I don't know, pickup lines and dating someone in RPG is as difficult as starting that up in real life, and I just froze. And it's so much so that I was just like, okay, Bunny Boy might be asexual and might just be like, yeah, we can hang, and that's, yeah, you're cool. So yeah, there's that. The reaction was poor. I guess I'll say that.
No, I thought that the reaction was like so on point for Bunny Boy's character. And like, I remember texting you after those first couple of sessions being like, you okay with this, right? Like, you okay with this, right? Like, nobody's going to smack you in the face, right? Like, you're okay with this, right? And you were like, yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. But then in my head, I'm just like, okay, so is he saying that it's cool just because he's my friend? He doesn't want me to freak out. Like, like I'm just like, okay with it, you know.
You seem like you enjoyed it, and I was like, if he wants to do this, I mean, you know how streams and things go. Like, I'll just roll with it, wabi sabi, and we'll do it. So, yeah, no, that wasn't fake. It's just like, yep, that you took it down this road, and you're driving the bus, so let's do it. Just ready to go.
And honestly, thank you for doing that, because one of the things that I like more than seeing my boyfriend flirt, seeing him flirt with an NPC and have his genuine reactions, it was very wholesome and very fantastic. Getting to see that and just being like, yeah.
Spoiler alert, if you can't, they don't just have the same background, guys. For those who haven't picked it up in 50 episodes.
This is a green screen. I'm still in Kentucky.
They both have the same background on the green screen. They can't even, they're so close together, they almost can't. There we go. There's that. Hey, terms of service. So there you go. So,
Lance, Alex, talk about your games.
Say, Blizz, I grew up listening to NoFX and Rancid a lot in my high school years, and I wanted to see what I would be like if I took up the shoes of Fat Mike, just more violent. And then whenever I first started making him, Joe, in one of the cons, goes, "You basically just made Junkrat," which is kind of true.
You made Junkrat if Junkrat was Fat Mike.
Huh.
And I don't know if anybody else has met Fat Mike, but that's hilarious to me now.
But Fat Mike is one of my favorite singers and bands in general of NoFX, and I just thought it would be fun to make a more psychotic version of him.
Yeah.
And throw in some of the stuff that I normally do in real life with some of the stupid shit that I do.
So we were talking about this during the break, though. It's like Blizz matured from like episode 1 through 50. Like, if y'all remember back to when we thought this was only going to be a podcast and we recorded it in my studio at the house, Blizz and Bunny Boy bros, fist pound from the beginning, right? But like Blizz leading up to that just did like the dumbest things in the world to like now he's like leading a family and like being like responsible. Like he's not paying taxes by any means, but like
to that effect, I don't know if we ever specifically talked about it in this stream, but Blizz is a character that dates back quite a while, similar to Muffins. And we originally, we sort of kind of made it canon that the previous versions of Blizz are this version of Blizz. He just took so many drugs between the last time he played and this one that he completely forgot everything about his prior life.
Which is, fairly on point for a Blizz. Like, let's be real about that. So,
when he was first introduced, he was getting his leg replaced and shooting up on, was it morphine?
Yeah, I think so. You basically took the plant and was just like, yeah, that's cool. All right. Like, you're like the Keith Richards of this group. It's just like, I can't die. I don't fucking care.
A cockroach.
Yeah. It's Blizz, Keith Richards, and a cockroach at the end of the world. That's what's happening.
With a grenade launcher.
Probably.
Never forget the grenade launcher.
I'm going to make it canon that Keith Richards is still somehow fucking alive in our universe. Right there. There you go. He's still somehow alive.
Well preserved.
Yeah.
The Futurama head.
Maybe. We never made that part canon, but, All right, Alex, you had 2 characters that you had to create.
So my thought process for this has always been pretty simple. Was showcase with Titus. The reason I made him a Leo and a former cop was I wanted to showcase it because most people don't play Leos. It's probably our least played class, and it's a pretty neatly designed class. So I wanted to like do some shit with it. And mostly I was like, when we first started, I was like, I'm just gonna make a real basic character and see how it plays out. And because I didn't really know what to expect walking in, like how the group dynamic was going to work. And then by the time Titus died, believe it or not, people in the audience and the chat and the people who listen to this later, I don't actually know what Mallo's doing ahead of time. There'll be some story stuff where he's like, did we write this way? And like, it'll be real macro world stuff. But aside from that, I have no idea about the story beats. So I don't know what's happening. So when Billy came along, it was, the big thing was I wanted to step back more from like where Titus's role was. Because I was like, Billy's not going to be like the leader or the guy nudging anything or like pushing stuff through. Like Billy's just going to hang out and be a jet, in Bunny's words. And like, that's why he has medical and demolitions. I was like, he'll be the support guy. He'll be goofy and funny, and he'll be a freedom fighter from Juarez, and he'll just be there to fucking wreck shop. That's his whole thing. And that was the whole concept. So that's pretty much it. My stuff's pretty simple.
Guess that leaves me.
Yeah.
So, I want to say, like, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Muffins is probably one of the oldest characters that's stuck around for a while.
Yes.
Yes.
And
In some version of, it's like Iron Man's suit. You've got like Mark 1 Muffins, Mark 2 Muffins, you know.
This is officially the 3rd iteration of Muffins that has been played. They've all been relatively similar, but
It's like the King James version.
Yeah. The original design behind Muffins was Muffins/Grifter was, what would I be like if I had no social filters or norms implanted in my head? How would I act if I didn't feel bad about wholesale murdering people, being just a general shithead mercenary for hire type person? But over time, like, the original incarnation of him was the reason why he had Muffins in the first place is because Grifter was a hypochondriac agoraphobe. He used Muffins to live vicariously because he was scared of the real world. Up to and including, at several points, he actually wore a full hazmat suit, like whenever he had to go places that were not Muffins. And one of I've got a sheet over there somewhere, actually behind me, where there's actually in my equipment, there's thermite grenades and Lysol cans in my equipment.
You didn't want to leave any chance for germs, is what you're saying. Okay.
No. And so yeah, he was a guy that was kind of flawed in a lot of ways, like from a social and human standpoint. And over iterations, he's kind of dialed back on that. Like, I ended up kind of dropping the agoraphobia thing because it kind of became cumbersome to play.
Oh, you mean trying to like negotiate with somebody while wearing a hazmat suit is cumbersome? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So eventually, that whole situation just kind of evolved back more to the original intent of me without filters. This version of Muffins was dialed back quite a bit from, like, Mallo knows I've done some pretty heinous things with Muffins in the past, and I didn't feel like that really fit this crew super well. And as many awful things as I did in this game, they were much worse back then. But yeah, me without filters. So I guess my family should be happy that I have filters and fairly strong ones. and I don't have access to a 900-pound war robot.
It's really annoying when I need to harness that energy to take care of problems for me, and you're all, no, you can't murder people, that's illegal, I'll go to prison.
Yeah. But,
Dumb.
you know, I think we saw some pretty solid growth and development on the Grifter character this time around. Up to and including him kind of just being open for whatever in terms of relationships, because I hit on a lot of different people in this game. And yeah.
So I love the last portion of it where you're just kind of like throwing that out there too. Well, I'm just kind of like, okay, well now you've got everything covered at this point. Like there was a moment where like I could have almost shipped like you and Noelle, but I don't know if Ben, who created the original Noelle Juliet character, I actually would be getting a phone call from him probably being like, what? But I think it would be funny.
I threw down some heavy flirtation Noelle's way.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I will have to go ask Ben what he would think about that.
Yeah.
I actually don't know.
Yeah. We never got that far into Noelle's character.
I was just gonna ask, is Noelle, so is Eve's suspicion of Noelle at least on track a little bit because of how mean she is?
Yes and no.
I'm gonna lean more to no, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean more toward no. Noelle has a very soft spot in a very hard heart, and for that soft spot, he will fucking murder you. For the chat and for everybody who's still watching, Noelle Juliet is the, I believe, longest running actually played NPC in Identico. He's in Defiance. Ben played Noelle in the alpha playtest.
Where Muffins was too, I believe.
What's that?
I think Muffins was around at that point too.
I don't know if we called him Muffins.
I don't think we did either at that point, but yeah.
Yeah, Muffins did not have a name originally.
I'm trying to remember who it was. We were at Round the Table in Linwood. That was our first alpha playtest, and it was probably 6 years ago.
6 or 7 almost, yeah.
And Ben came in with a character named Noelle Juliet, and he enjoyed playing it so much that he wrote the short stories that you see in Defiance. And from that session, he was headshotting people with a 357. That was his primary move. The entire session was headshotting people with a 357. That's also where, because Tip actually asked about Of Monsters and Men 2. Of Monsters and Men 1 was written for that alpha playtest so that we could do that. That's how old that adventure is. And it's been developed over time. But yes, so Noelle is not evil.
I mean, neither is Muffins.
Noelle's actually more... I played it out.
Nihilist?
Well, he's not just a nihilist, but he's hurt at this stage in the story. So what had happened leading into and through In Defiance of Chaos, like, this is a dude that's getting revenge in a very specific way and utilizing the Jackson Howe character, which has also showed up in Chaos Inc., which we've talked about
in Defiance.
And in Defiance, yeah. We talked about a little bit in there that, like, well, I think you've already talked about their alignment, at least with some of these corporations, and
yes,
neither Jackson nor Noelle are very happy with any of the other ones for very specific reasons. And so when you all were hell-bent to basically take down Benevolent, he was like, I will write checks all day. Because he was the original one that brought down the first Benevolent Tower in Vancouver. And so you guys have brought down... It was in Dubai?
Dubai.
Correct. So he's brought down one. Y'all brought down a second one. Like, the pattern is sort of like, whether he's doing the detonation or being there, or you all are doing it, you know, your goals aligned, to put it in the best particular way. So
Bit made a pretty interesting comment about muffins and the conversation with Piper and Joe. I think that's an interesting comment because it actually shows one of the things that I actually have written down. And Pete joked about my OneNote. I actually have one. While Grifter does not have filters per se, he does have his own sense of morality, such as you could call it. And it was peppered a little bit here and there throughout the whole campaign. One of the things that he cannot tolerate is people fucking with his family. Mm-hmm. People that he has chosen to associate with and would call a friend if he felt that he had friends in the traditional sense. But when it's kind of, you poke the mama bear and he gets very angry and starts murdering things.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. I'm interested to see. So Angel City Stories was initially written to do kind of what In Defiance does. There's a lot of short stories and vignettes that come together or that ladder up to maybe a larger sort of portion of this. So the two things I'll leave you all with tonight, because we did get a question of Monsters and Men 2. I have not forgotten about it. Life has happened. If you haven't noticed, we're in a parallelogram still, because I refuse to say the other P word. And so that fucks with you when it comes to the creative stuff. So I haven't forgotten about it. I am actually still thinking about that and how it wraps up, because we have introduced the concept of the biotransference and things like that in the game. So we will have more about that stuff soon enough. Because I know that you all want the ending to that story. So I will not Pat Rothfuss you, I promise. Or Robert Jordan you. Or George R.R. Martin you. That's a long list.
We know where you live.
Yes. So, no, we will get those going for you. The other thing that I will say is that leaves the door open for more Angel City Stories in the future. And so be looking out for that as well, because again, this is a lot of fun. I don't know about y'all, but I have a ton of fun doing this. Even when life kind of sucks, this is the high point in life for me right now. And I enjoy seeing all of you in chat. I enjoy reading your comments on YouTube. I enjoy being with everybody here. So until we meet again, which is next week, because we're going to have some talkie streams next week. But until we meet again, I will bid you adieu. And good night. Goodbye. Tell somebody you love them. Drink your water, take your vitamins. I didn't forget about it this time. Wear a goddamn mask. Get vaccinated if you haven't. And we will see you again next week. Okay? We love you. Mwah! Good night, everybody.
We are so proud of you.
You know what? And just like Steve, you're looking pretty good. Keeping it together. I like to see that. Till we meet again. Remember, there's no such thing as a stranger. There's just a friend you haven't met yet. Stay weird, boys.